Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World. And today we're in Vienna, Austria, in front of the St. Charles Church. And what I have for you are 6 travel blunders that people make when they go abroad. Like, these are 6 little mistakes people make that might kind of take away from their enjoyment of their traveling. So hopefully I can help you not make these blunders. The first mistake I see people make, or the first blunder I see them make, is they try to see too much. You know, I've seen all these backpackers going around Europe this summer, and basically they're like, okay, I've got 10 days, I'm gonna see 8 countries. Like, yeah, you can do that, but you're spending all that time in the train and on the planes and stuff like that, that you're not really enjoying Europe. You're just more like seeing all the public transport. And what people do is they try to see too much in their time, and therefore they don't get to relax. They don't get to take in the culture, the people, the atmosphere, and all the things that make traveling fantastic. And it stresses them out. So what I suggest you do, instead of trying to see 7 countries in 10 days, why not focus on 2 countries, or maybe one or 2, or maybe 3 countries that you can do like just a few cities in, and spend more time in those to enjoy it. Because you try to do too much, you're going to get burned out, especially if you're going more than 10 days or 2 weeks. If you're doing your backpacking through Europe for a month kind of thing, and you try to pack, okay, we're going to see 20 countries and do everything in Europe in our month abroad, by your end of your second week, you're going to be burned out, and then you won't enjoy the next week, and then you'll be mad at yourself for, you know, not enjoying that 3rd week, and then you don't want to do that. So that's the first blunder. Trying to do too much. Guys, pick and choose the best things to do, and don't go overboard. The second blunder I see people make is they see the cheap airlines, especially here in Europe, and they book it to fly to some airport that's, you know, I want to go to Barcelona, but I'm flying with, you know, Ryanair or whatever, and they're taking me to Barcelona, Girona. Yeah, so it's a lot cheaper flight. Hey, yeah, it's 30 euros cheaper. The problem is that Girona takes an extra 45 minutes to get to. It's not Barcelona, it's another city, and then I gotta pay the bus to get back, which is more than it is going from the normal airport. Also, if you get in late, because you're taking these cheap airlines and stuff, or early, maybe there's no public transport and you gotta take a taxi, and that negates the savings. I know I used to fly Ryanair a lot from Lithuania to England, and it would go to Stansted. And the price for the train ticket from the Stansted airport to London was more expensive than my flight. So eventually it became worthless to use the cheap airlines, and so I'd fly British Airways, because I went into Heathrow, a normal airport in the center of town that's connected to public transport. So the second blunder is choosing outlying airports because you think you're going to get a better deal. That's a blunder I see all the time. The third blunder, which also kind of goes with this location thing, is people staying at hotels that are outside of the center. Now, if you're going a quick tour and stuff, you know, you want to be closer to the action, okay? You want to see the sights, because the thing is, if you stay at a hotel or a hostel that's like 45 minutes from the center, that's 45 minutes in, 45 minutes out, that's an hour and a half of visiting time you're losing, and you're saving what, 20 euros? Okay, well, if you miss the last tram back, well, that's 20 euros just in one taxi ride. It's maybe not worth it. So what I would do is find an affordable thing, so you want to book early. Find an affordable hotel near the action, near the center and stuff, so you can go and see stuff all day long, and you're tired in the middle of the day, you can go to the grocery store, bring something back to your hotel room, put your feet up and eat, so you can save money that way, which of course then pays for not having to go out to eat because you're not way out in the boonies, the boondocks, okay? So picking a hotel that's way out of the center is another blunder I see people make. The fourth mistake I see people make is they don't do their research. They kind of like show up in Prague and say, okay, what do I see? Or they show up, oh, I'm in Vienna, what do I see? Or worse, I'm in Barcelona, what do I see? Because in Barcelona, if you don't do your research, you won't know that is the #1 worst city in the world for pickpocketing. And the cops don't care. They are not going to help you. They're going to laugh at you. Okay, so make sure you do that research beforehand, because that's the fourth blunder. People don't do the research. Do the research before you go. What sights to see, what to look out for, what you should eat, all those kind of things, because it does make a difference. Okay, so make sure you do the research. That's number 4. The fifth blunder I see people make is they don't check the price beforehand. So like if you get in a taxi or they go to a restaurant and they just order something, because that's one way that it's easy to rip somebody off if they don't look at the price. But also you might not realize you walked into a fancy restaurant and that bottle of water you got is 10 euros instead of, you know, 2. So make sure you check out the prices, whether it's the hotels, the restaurants, the bars, because, you know, I've made that mistake too. I was in Santiago, Chile, went out drinking. I said, okay, I'll buy the first round. So I got 5 beers for people. So yeah, 5 beers. Okay, he's like, which one? I'm like, whatever. Comes back, it's like 5 Heineken. They're like $8 a piece versus the local beer, which was like 80 cents. I got screwed over, that's the way it is. So make sure you're looking at the prices beforehand. Ask for the menu. A lot of countries in Europe, they have to put the menu outside so you can see the prices. If you're not sure, ask. It's okay. I mean, the worst they tell you is it's really expensive. Okay, well then I'm going to go someplace else. But not looking at the prices beforehand can be a big blunder. And the sixth blunder I see people make is they don't give themselves enough connection time. Now that might be when they're flying to Europe. They say, oh, well, I'll fly from this town to this town. I'm sure, yeah, an hour and a half in Chicago to go from Terminal 1 to 5. I'm sure that's fine. No, because you have to go out, take the transit thing to Terminal 5, go through security again, and you could miss your flight. And I see people all the time running through the airports and stuff, or the train stations. They're missing their trains, they're missing their buses, their flights, because they put too short of a connection time. Make sure you give yourself enough time between things. Remember, just because it says you land at 7:30 doesn't mean you get off the plane at 7:30. That means you're supposed to be on the land at 7:30. You might not get out of the plane until 8:15 if you're in the back of the plane. So make sure you give yourself that connection time. Also with trains in Europe, a lot of times they're 5 to 10 minutes late. So make sure it's 5 to 10 minutes late. Plus, I've got to find where the other train is. So I got to run down the stairs with my luggage. So if you have too much, you got a problem. And then you got to go find it and run back, okay? So that's that one. And I guess I'll give you one, an extra number seven for you, and that's packing too much. I see people that all the time. You know, they have their big backpacks full of things, okay? And they've got their front backpack, and they got their sleeping bag on there, all this stuff, and that's a big blunder because when you take too many things with you, you can't buy new stuff. Also, it makes you a bigger target to get robbed. And third, you don't need all these things. You know, like people that bring their sleeping bags, most of the time, you are not going to be using a sleeping bag. Hostels make you have sheets. Hotels give you sheets. So you're wasting all that space with your sleeping bag. Also, you don't need 19 pairs of shoes, or you don't need all these things. Keep it simple because overpacking is the last blunder I want to talk about. So hopefully I can help you hopefully this video helped you not make those blunders anymore. If you want to learn more about traveling, whether it's packing, picking flights, what you're going to love and hate about here in Vienna, check us out at our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter and Facebook, and we really appreciate your likes and subscriptions. And bye from Vienna, Austria, in front of the Kastkirche. Tschüss. Auf Wiedersehen.